I have faith that the Constitution will not be saved in Washington.
Do you see what is happening right before our eyes? Second coming of the Lord. Jesus Christ will govern from Old Jerusalem and the New Jerusalem, built upon the American continent.
Travis Wayne Goodsell, Trump Eyes 2025. And then we've got a whole bunch of Passover videos to do for you today. So we'll need to get as many done as possible. Daniel chapter 2, starting in verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest and beheld a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breasts and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell you the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, Lord of lords, the great high priest, the Messiah Christ. For the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven, hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. You need to remember, it is Nebuchadnezzar who kidnapped and held hostage the Jews from Jerusalem whom he had conquered. and destroyed the Jerusalem temple, leveling it to the ground. This was written during the Qumran community Roman period time. And so this is written after the fact. Nonetheless, after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, but they're going to conquer you. Persia. You don't need to be placating anymore, Jewish author. You can tell it like it is. Babylon fell, and great was the fall thereof. Just like the great and abominable church, the whore that it was. And another third kingdom of brass, Greece, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong like iron, Rome. Forasmuch as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. What came after Rome? Christians? Any Christians in the audience? Who came after Rome? Who has a bit of Rome in them? Who came after Rome? This is Constantine's Christianity. The Holy Roman Empire. It was divided. First, there was the Orthodoxy divide. Then, the Protestant Reformation. And then it just shattered. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron of Rome, forasmuch as thou sawest the iron mixed with merry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Caused the Dark Ages. People became stupid. The power of Jesus hath made you stupid. And whereas thou sawest iron, because you do understand this is a Jew who's writing this, before the creation of Christianity. Yeah. He knew all about all of the nations down to iron and knew exactly how to placate his lord and masters at the time. But he hadn't had the Christians. No, no, no. No, no, no. And especially the rock. Rock. Gridnack. What's Gridnack? Let's get out of here before one of them kills Guy. You don't know. Galaxy Quest. Literal history true. We have the historical documents. Don't go off on tangents. We've got lots of stuff to cover for you guys who don't believe and won't watch. It'll all be in vain. let's see. Whereas thou sawest iron mixed with merry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. But they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Yep. Shattered nations. Not one nation ruling over the whole land. How did he know? How did he know? And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. So it can't be Christianity. Maybe it's Islam. No, that was one of the divide. Allah is Trinity. Oopsies, exposed. At least he created his own scriptures rather than just stealing the Jews and saying it's now Islamic. Right, Christians? And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms. That's the latter days, the fall of the government nations around the world. This is us right now. But will there be that kingdom? The enemy says no. If they can't have their King of Kings, nobody shall. Forasmuch as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the top of the mountain of Utah without hands. And so you notice it's not the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints either. That's one of the divided Christian groups. Right, Brigham? And that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold. The great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Yep, it's been fulfilled. Right, Christians? Right, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is the Jewish Christ who is to come. This isn't Jesus. This isn't Allah or their Jesus. This is nobody else but the Jewish Christ. And Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon says, hey, it's Joseph Smith who prepares the way for Mormons, for the Mormon who would come in the latter days to be the Jewish Christ. The dream is certain, the interpretation thereof sure. Trump has freed the animals from their prison. As he needs more space for humans to be locked up. And I'm sure nobody understands Michael Che and his joke last night. It's available on YouTube. For the weekend update. That will be in the thumbnail picture. You're all innocent and pure and have no clue what goes on OnlyFans. Since it's banned in Utah, isn't it? So thumbnail picture. Awesome. Awesome. And thus the theme song in the description below. And so, yeah, that's what's happening. Not just undocumented, not just those with green cards getting revoked, and student visas getting revoked. Those who are protesting are all getting locked up and deported. This is what's happening. Destroying the governments of the world through Trump. The enemy is doing this. If you believe the book of Daniel, and all Christians do, they just interpret it wrong. Guys, go through it slowly. Put them in order. But this is what you have been warned of in Scripture. Not just in Daniel, but all over the place. The Jewish Christ is coming in the latter days. And it's sad that nobody cares because they've got their own beliefs. Their truth. Their truth. And so, yeah, this is exactly what's happening. Animals are growing free. Humans are getting locked up in their place. The animal. Well, I've got plenty of other options for songs too, I guess. But Zoo covers it pretty well. And so, speaking also of locking up humans and torturing them, Big Pharma is set to have tariffs in the coming day. This is not going to be good. Big Pharma is mighty and powerful. But the reason why Big Pharma is being targeted is because there's a major stock investor in Big Pharma. The biggest, shall we say. The one that's ordering Trump what to do, and how to do it, and when to do it, and at what pace. The one who's causing the complete and utter destruction of the world governments. The mass murders of human beings. And a little Mormon sister missionary leaked it. She leaked the identity of this worldwide enemy of mankind. Yep, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They are profiting off of the calamities and the destruction and the loss of life. And Mormons remain Mormon, and they're going to go to church today. This likely is their fast and testimony meeting, if the stake presidents deem this week to be such, rather than the week after conference. And so Mormons are going to get up at the rammy-umptum of the churches around the world and declare false witness in violation of the Ten Commandments, declaring the false Christ rather than the Jewish Christ of the Ten Commandments. Prove me wrong. Take your cameras to church, record them. You'll see every single one of them doing that exact same thing. All will get up today and lie, demonstrating how evil Mormons are, how great and abominable, how terrible, like the idol statue god of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. So yes, the Jewish Christ will come from Utah to save Mormons. I know the correct interpretation, Mormons. You can't fool me. You cannot lie. You cannot use Christianity. You are automatically wrong. So, with Big Pharma tariffs, the church will rake in the dough on selling the stock. And since Trump has already leaked it, it's insider trading, everybody's prepared. Who owns stock in Big Pharma? Trump announced it. Hey guys who own stock in Big Pharma, I'm about to do tariffs. Today I'm going to sign the tariff bill on Big Pharma at 10 a.m. God. And so the repercussions of this are more than just high prices for drugs. Because Big Pharma specifically caters to behavioral control modification drugs for psychologists. Right, Oaks? How's that tart of dyskinesia going? And he's doing all this! And he's mentally retarded! Oh my God. The drugs aren't working. It's having an adverse effect. But this is also going to have repercussions because of insurance companies. Insurance companies are now going to say that the certain drugs that are outside of America are no longer going to be covered in America if the insurance companies want to stay in business and not get hit by Trump. And so they're going to cater to the pharmaceutical companies stationed in the United States of America. And it's going to hurt in that the companies in America are going to be hit with tariffs from outside of America in retaliation. And so they're going to lose their customer base outside of the United States of America. They're going to take a hit, just like the auto industry and other companies affected by Trump tariffs. They're getting denied selling their products outside the United States. They're being forced to only sell to Americans. And so if the companies want to make more money, they have to build offices outside with factories or manufacturing plants, whatever they use for their company, in other countries. And so they're going to have to get permissions and approvals from those other countries in order to continue to sell. They'll have to be multiple nationalities as a corporation in order to continue to make money, selling only exclusive to the nation that they're in. This is what Trump is doing to destroy the world economy and the world governments, so that the church can get their kingdom back. And so the treatment centers, aka asylums, are going to be subjected to the higher prices of the national pharmaceutical companies. They're going to jack up their prices because they're not getting the money from outside the United States. And it's going to be the pearl of great, or the drugs of great price, just like the eggs of great price. And insurance companies are going to be more unwilling to have to pay those higher prices. And so they will purposely say, well, we don't want to pay that price. And then the pharmaceutical company will say, tough. And then the insurance companies will say, fine. Then nobody will be buying them if they want our insurance. Right, Oaks? And so it's not just for mental drugs, it's other drugs that Big Pharma makes. Your asthma, your diabetes, other medical science drugs that is used to actually heal rather than torture. As all psychological drugs torture people and cause harm with side effects. That's why I mock Oaks, because he's the enemy who got leaked by little sister Jessica, and yet he's obviously taking psycho drugs because of his tardive dyskinesia. And so you'd think the nation would have states preparing for Trump's transition rather than continuing to resist and deny that it's happening. That the legislatures in every single state in the United States are saying, oh, okay, we need to learn how to be self-sufficient and self-reliant as a kingdom. This is what Trump is doing. Let's get prepared. Let's set it all up. Governor Cox, you're going to be king. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to hand it over to the church. I don't want to do the job. Exactly. But still, you'd think that they would make laws right now, rushing to make laws to help with this transition so that they are not caught with their pants down once the final fall of the federal government occurs. Nope. State after state after state after state are continuing to resist and deny and refuse to prepare for what's coming. This is going to be a national crisis. If you thought leaking the war plans to little teenage girls, as the one girl had to go on a date with Matt Gaetz, they resurrected him. Yes. It will be nothing to the civil war that is coming. All those little girl teenagers won't be able to use their oh my God, I just saw a head get blown off. It's coming. So Utah, to live in denial land, the Huntsman Mental Treatment Center Asylum created yet another one. We just had one get canceled here in Utah for criminal operations, abusive practices. And here the Huntsman Institute, in denial, is now creating another one to fill its place. They're like vultures. Oh my God. What's also happening is that federal funding is not being sent to these public health and health and human services state agencies. And so they are being forced to fire people. And so, yep, Utah's public health department had to fire people. Utah is not doing the necessary preparations for what is coming. It's happening. Why are everybody in denial that it's happening? Why don't people understand that they need to plan for the change? You cannot remove a king without the shedding of much blood. He does not want us to go back to the way things were. He is running this government into the ground. And he's saying, well, it's just a transition. Do you know what the transition is? You're not going to like it, just like you're not liking being locked up in prison for being you. For not being undocumented, for not being an illegal, for not being a criminal, simply because you are an American citizen, or you got a green card, or you have a student visa. Are you going to make the transition? Are you going to search for your Christ? Or are you just going to bow down and let him smite off your head?